This video is about how to solve a problem if it's not in factored form. Both of these have a GCF and both of them have three terms, so we will be doing a box problem as well. The difference between this and the other problems that we've done so far is that these all have an equals 0, which means that you are going to have to solve them using the zero product property. First thing you want to do is pull out your greatest common factor. In this case, that's a 2. So we'll have x squared minus 6x minus 72. Don't forget your equals 0. Your 2 comes down. Open your parentheses and put in your x's. Don't forget your equals 0. Now we do our box problem with what's on the inside. Multiplies to negative 72. Adds to negative 6. This one's a little tricky. You should come up with a 12 and a 6, but because we need them to add to a negative 6, this will be a negative 12. So minus 12 plus 6. Now we need to go ahead and solve this. So 2 times x minus 12 times x plus 6 all equals 0. That means one of these has to be equal to a 0. Well, 2 cannot be equal to 0. That doesn't make any sense. So you can just ignore that too. If x minus 12 equals 0, we would add 12 to both sides and get x equals 12. But the x plus 6 could also be equal to 0. So in that case, we would minus 6 on both sides and get x equals negative 6. So your answers are 12 or negative 6. Or you could just leave it like this. Let's try another one. This time our GCF isn't a number, it's actually a variable. All of these have an x in common. So we can pull the x out, and you'll have x squared minus 4x minus 5 equals 0. You may want to redistribute to make sure that you do end up with what you started with. Now, this is what you're going to do your box problem with. Bring down that x, set up your factoring, don't forget your equals 0. Let's multiply to negative 5 and add to negative 4. That's going to be a 5 and a 1. But it needs to be a negative 5 because we're adding to a negative 4. So minus 5 plus 1, and now we solve. Just like before, all of these three things multiplied together give you a 0. That means one of them has to be a 0. So this could be equal to 0. That is a possibility, so there's your answer. Or x minus 5 could be equal to 0. We solve it by adding over the 5. Or this x plus 1 could be equal to 0. Minus your 1, and you could get a negative 1. So this one actually has three possible solutions: 0, or 5, or negative 1.